Hey, this is Sam. Welcome to BNS About Movies. This week, it's episode 36. Three sixes, and you can't take the metal kid out of me, which means this week we're going to do two movies that are very Exorcist inspired, more than inspired. We could say ripped off. They are first, the German Magdalena, Possessed by the Devil.
Magdalena! Oh, stop that!
Magdalena, Possessed by the Devil.
Magdalena's escaped.
Did you open the straitjacket?
No, she ripped it open.
We must find her. Dangerous.
No, please. Please.
Magdalena, Possessed by the Devil.
Me not! Torment me not!
For he had commanded the unclean spirits come out of the man.
You witnessed her combat with her subconscious?
Yes.
No!
I put in a request to have Magdalene exorcised.
Mother, you certainly don't believe there's a devil and that he can be exorcised by you.
You just want me to pass out, don't you?
When he was alive, only now he's dead. And I despise the dead.
A motion picture that pierces the psychic barrier.
Do you want to now?
A motion picture that will leave you spellbound. Magdalena.
What would a German ripoff of The Exorcist look like? Now, that's an important question to ask. When I describe a lot of the ripoffs of The Exorcist, I often say, you know how in that movie it's somewhat classy? Well, what if it wasn't? Wouldn't that be awesome? And most people, normal people at that point, they say, no, I have no interest in seeing a movie that is less classy than a movie where a girl pees all over the floor and says, you're going to die up there. Well, for the rest of us, there are movies like Magdalena, Possessed by the Devil, which was shown to me for the first time by my friend Bill Van Ryn. He asked if I'd ever seen it, knowing it would be a movie I fell in love with. It's directed by Walter Booz, best known for his Schoolgirl Report exploitation films. If you got excited when I said Schoolgirl Report, you are a pervert. Let's be friends. We start with a prostitute arguing with several men in the streets before coming home to find a man crucified to the wall of her apartment building. I should also mention that her clothing is hideous, even for a prostitute in a 1970s German exploitation movie. This dead man had visitors all hours of the day and night, including a woman with a giant dog, and has only one living relative, who is his granddaughter, Magdalena, who's in school. They delay telling her that her grandfather has died so that everyone can have a party. Magdalena elicits Pavlovian responses. Every time you hear the sound of flies buzzing, something completely wild is about to happen, like the dead body of a man sitting up in the morgue, or Magdalena frothing at the mouth and tearing all of her clothes off, or a tiny dog that looks a lot like a dog that I would own losing its mind.
There's something frightening the dog. What's the matter here?
For the rest of this movie, Magdalena alternates between being a virginal high school girl and a complete lunatic. And would you have it any other way? She goes from smashing dishes in a kitchen and kicking her way through doors to having sex with invisible demons in literally no time at all.
Magdalena! No!
Go away!
Go, Magdalena!
Go away!
Hey, dog!
No, go
Magdalena,
away!
you're delirious!
Go away!
Magdalena!
Then she's fine and has to go to her grandfather's funeral.
He was your grandfather, and you loved him.
When he was alive, only now he's dead. And I despise the dead.
She hitchhikes there, but when a driver tries to molest her while she sleeps, she kills him. And then when she gets back to school, things get even crazier. Magdalena has another fit, during which she tears up a photo of her parents and tries to have sex with all of the old women who run the school before beating up every single one of them.
Get out, you sluts! I don't want to see you again. Get out!
Then she runs out of steam as the women slap her around too many times for this to be comfortable. And lest we forget, she's nude the entire time. That's when Dr. Stone gets involved, and he runs tests on Magdalena because you can't have an Exorcist movie where science tries to solve what faith can't.
What's the matter with Magdalena?
I don't know, but what happened today is a very special type of symptom, one that's out of the range of normal medical science. It's as if she were under some sort of compulsion to use very offensive language, a compulsion to shout obscenities at the top of her lungs. An obsessive compulsion to make lascivious gestures and bestial motions.
But why, Doctor? What causes this compulsion?
I prefer not to say anything for the time being. Otherwise, you might think I was a little crazy.
That said, not many of these films also had the doctor fall in love with the patient. Obviously, the rules are different about this kind of thing in Germany. Even though Magdalena has found true love with the doctor who really shouldn't be falling in love with her, that doesn't mean she's not possessed. She even appears nude to two brothers, making them fight one another in a bowling alley as she lays naked in a lane, begging them to kill one another for her.
Let's see which one is stronger. The winner gets me. I'm worth it, too. I need it badly.
Spoiler warning, one of them stabs the other and she disappears. Talk about a tease. Anyways, the rest of the film alternates between good and evil Magdalena, who even gets stoned to have sex with her. I mean, that wasn't much of a stretch. And then claiming that he assaulted her. Finally, the forces of good are able to get the evil of her grandfather out of her body. And how does that happen, you might ask? Well, she throws up a snake and Dr. Stone steps on it.
In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Ghost.
So, yeah, this is really something. It's completely and utterly unhinged. Dagmar Heydrich, who is in this as Magdalena, she was only in one other film. She utterly goes for it in this movie. She is a tornado in it. If you love possession films as much as I do, obviously I do, you should grab this. It's on the Mill Creek Pure Terror box set. Our second film is 1974's Enter the Devil. And I'm not talking about the Texas shot Enter the Devil. This is an Italian film, and it is at the center of a Venn diagram that we made of the movies I love the most. One, it's an Italian ripoff of a successful film. Obviously, we wouldn't be doing it on this episode if it wasn't The Exorcist. Satanism. This movie has some of the goofiest and most awesome devil tricks of any movie I've ever seen. Exploitation. No one in this film acts like a normal human being, and reality is supplanted by insanity even before demons get involved. Multiple titles. This film is also known as Exorcist, The Tormented, Devil Obsession, La Ossessa, and was later released post-Rocky Horror Midnight Movie success in 1977 as the Eerie Midnight Horror Show, which is a lot of people may know it as that title. And even better, before the story begins, we get a title card that says my favorite words. This film is based on a true story. Danielle is an art student in Italy who is so respected by her teachers that she gets to join them as they acquire religious sculptures from a church due to be torn down. This church was deconsecrated back in the 1700s because the priests and nuns turned against God and started having orgies in the church. This is an Italian movie.
It seems that in order to be given the protection of Baal, they sacrificed newborn children to him. In the orgy rituals, on the other hand, they chose the victims from among the virgins. Anyway, go on in, nothing to be afraid of.
Thank you.
One of the statues, an incredibly lifelike display of one of the thieves crucified next to Jesus, catches Daniela's eye. She is told it was pulled directly from a tree, that it was already inside the wood, and all the sculptor had to do was bring out the details. Many tourists that have looked upon the sculpture have had mental breakdowns. Look, Danielle's life is weird even before this gets started, like I said. Her rich parents threw a party, and we learn that her mother isn't just cheating on her father, she's also doing it in public. Daniela catches her getting whipped by the thorns of a rose, a scene that my wife randomly walked in and asked, "What are you watching?" Our heroine leaves for her studio at the university. As she paints, the sculpture literally comes down off the cross in a scene that can only come from the deranged mind of an Italian exploitation director, this time being Mario Garizano, who wrote Sister Emmanuel and directed the adult Very Close Encounters of the Fourth Kind. Of course, that revived religious icon then has sex with her. Sex that appears to be a dream as she runs from the studio. Later that night, as she climbs the stairs to her family's home, she keeps thinking she's alone, but the sounds of her footsteps don't match up. She hears a demon whisper her name, and she runs in fear before the demon overcomes her, forcing her into a state of sexual mania and a dream where she herself is crucified She spends the rest of the movie trying to get anyone to have sex with her while stigmata appears on her hands, and we get all sorts of exorcism tropes that we know and love. And then, man, Ivan Rassimov shows up as Satan, giving Daniela her beauty back. He had taken her face away from her so she can work with him to tempt priests.
We invoke thy name, O great Satan, our master, lord, and protector.
Like Father Zeno, she tries to seduce him.
But this is only the beginning of the treatment I have in mind for this obstinate servant of my great enemy. I want him. I want to crush his insufferable, stupid pride beneath my heel. You are mine, Dalila, and when you make him yours, he'll be mine. It will be the symbol of my triumph, the proof of my power. I give you back what I had taken away. Beauty, now a weapon to be used for Satan.
To forget that, he self-flagellates himself. He's played by Luigi Pistilli. Oh man, if you know Italian horror, you're excited just hearing that name.
Kiss me. Give me your love. Penetrate me. Penetrate my soul. Take me anywhere you like. Or let me do the taking. On my knees in front of you. I'll give you pleasure you've never dreamed of. Let me.
Abomination!
Finally, the priest dies, the girl is saved, and how do you get rid of a demon? That's right, you puke it. But you knew that, right?
Imperativi. Deo Spiritu. Imperativi. Majestas Christi.
You've seen this film before, but that doesn't mean that this movie isn't great. And by great, I mean the scummiest version of everything you love about Exorcist films. No matter what title you refer to it by, it is everything and anything that you want to see. I 100% recommend this movie. Anyways, if you want to know more about exorcism ripoffs, if you want to know about any kind of movies, come to BNS About Movies. Reach out to me, please. I would love to hear from people that listen to this show at bnsaboutmovies@gmail.com. You can also go to the site and make a coffee donation and sponsor the show. I'll do an episode about any movie you'd like. Thanks for listening. Talk to you soon.